Something I'm known for is my criticism of sweet tea, because a lot of people who make sweet tea make really bitter, shitty tea. It's usually in commercial applications where my complaint is most prevalent, because there's a lot of brands that make tea with flavorings and sugar, and then they make a regular tea, like an unsweetened tea, and if you try it, you find out it is total crap. And that, to me, is indicative of a problem, because it means the only way you can make your product palatable is to just throw a bunch of random shit in it and hope no one notices. Now, there are a lot of different reasons for any particular methodology with sweet tea, and there are a lot of people who will disagree with me, and there are plenty of people down south who make it not shitty tea, but I digress. The reason I bring this up is because a similar principle about coffee has been put to me. Because in fairness, I went through a phase of my life where I really did like cream and sugar in all my coffee. Which brings us to this. I basically grabbed anything that I could find in the H-Mart that is just a straight black coffee. No cream, no sugar, no nothing. If you've seen anything I've done on canned coffee before, you know that I'm a big fan. And I feel like maybe one or two of these actually have come up before in a previous video. But I've never done just a straight, this is the black coffees. So this is what we ended up with. We have two from the Boss Company, which is one of my personal favorites. I'm sorry, the Boss brand. Suntory makes this. Suntory makes all sorts of things I like. And then, of course, we also have Georgia Coffee and J Street Coffee. Because I'm biased towards Boss Coffee, we're of course going to start with Boss Coffee. Now, the Black Boss, it comes in a shorter can. It's just, as far as I know, just made the conventional way. There's nothing particularly special about it. This one has no calories. You would think that all of these have no calories. You would be wrong. Some of them actually do have calories. The Boss Coffee Flash Brew and the J Street Coffee both have 10 calories. The Titanium Black from Georgia Coffee and Black Boss do not. As far as ingredients go, the only thing that I can see is that they vary a little bit in terms of like sodium content and whether or not they have a singular carbohydrate. And I think really that just comes down to the different preparation methods and what they end up extracting from the coffee. So let's start with the absolute number 0. Despite having one total carbohydrate in it, let's see where we're at. Oh, yeah, that smells like coffee. Yeah, that tastes like coffee. I'd say that's a pretty good baseline. Another good reason to start with Boss is because since there are two bosses in here, I can actually see if Flash Brewing, which is like the method, the imprint, if you will, that I actually usually do order. I usually get like the cafe au lait version of this from Amazon every now and then. Being able to compare the two back to back might tell you if there's actually a relevance to that price point difference. They definitely taste different. The best way that I can describe the distinction is that this tastes thicker. Like there's just more flavor in it, as opposed to the regular short can one here. Which inevitably, since we're talking about black coffee here, that means, you know, you're probably gonna want to pick this one, right? It's a little weird because I feel like I now do have something of a daily coffee habit, which I didn't have for the longest time. I'm actually very much a Monster Zero boy. It's always interesting to me to come back and try out, oh yeah, the fancy, the smorgasbord of coffees that are available to us. Next, we're gonna go with the Georgia Coffee Platinum Black. This one is 45 milligrams of sodium, but no calories. Hang on 1 second. The Titanium Black tastes stronger. Actually, that's something I didn't look at. What is the caffeine content on these things? They appear to have omitted that from the translated label. That might be illegal. They should look into that. But for J Street Coffee, it's 150 milligrams for this itty bitty can. The perfect pick-me-up, it says. This is something I probably should have kept on me during Otakon. If you weren't present for any of the events at Otakon, we officially did 2, and then there was another one for the 21 plus group that we essentially made and like I ran it. There was an official Manly Battleships event, but you know how it is. We were the subcontractor for that. And it was an all-around good time. The 30th anniversary of Otakon really reminded me a lot of the diversity of programming and things that were available to do that made Otakon appealing to me in the first place, you know, after I went the first couple of years. There's something different that you get out of cons when you are as young as I was the first time I went, but after the first couple of years, something that keeps you there is deciding what you like best and whether or not you can still have those things if you return. In the realm of professional paneling, that's what we call the butts in seats factor. And for those of you out there that are here for the live programming aspect of what I do, that's kind of the selling point of the service. I'm a firm believer that what keeps people going to a convention isn't the guest lineup or anything like that. It's actually the number of hours that you spend engaged within the convention environment. There's certainly a lot to be said for being able to meet up with your friends and party and do all the things that are adjacent to the convention experience, but I've noticed the longer we go, the more likely it is that if people are depending on those things, those non-inside convention things, to show up, then the moment the impetus, like their friends stop coming, or they don't like parties anymore, then they stop coming. So with Manly Battleships, when I'm not making stuff here, that's the thing that we're focusing on. Creating experiences, creating panels, programming of various kinds that make you want to stick around and do them, which adds value to the badge. That's the whole point here. So far, other than like when I host the Beyblade tournament with Con, there isn't really anything that we do that you have to pay extra for. It's all with your badge. And that's something you should share with your local convention so that you can see us there too. All right, last one, J Street. Well, I know where the 150 milligrams is coming from. This is really thick. This tastes like something that was, like if you ever take a regular like coffee maker, and maybe some of you have no idea what that is at this point. Like you put the water through, it goes through the coffee in the filter, drips down into the pot. It feels like they took that result and they put it back in for another go. That's what that tastes like. So in summary, what I would say is that Black Boss is actually at the bottom, not because it tastes terrible, but because it tastes thin and a little watery. It tastes like, you know, almost like gas station coffee that you just didn't put creamer in, I'm sorry to say. Followed by the Titanium Black, which tastes like coffee, but better. Out of all of these, I think actually Boss Coffee Flash Brew is the best. So if you want a black coffee experience, this right here, this is the good one. Who would have thought? J Street Coffee, I'm just going to say I refuse to rank because I don't think it's the same kind of product. It really does not feel like it matches with these other ones at all. This feels like they wanted to make an energy shot that was pretending to be coffee. Kind of like one of those coffee flavored monsters. It's just not really that good. Like, I feel if you wanted to drink something specifically for the benefit of the caffeine, you would just go and buy a coffee drink that has a lot more caffeine and enjoy the whole experience. I don't believe anyone actually would like this if your preference is canned black coffee. In summary, +1 to Suntory once again. I just found out that Suntory actually brought over -196. Not Strong Zero, but like the regular ABV version. It's a little bit complicated because a lot of people refer to like the brand itself as Strong Zero, but in actuality, Strong Zero is kind of like Mike's Harder lemonade to Mike's Hard. That's caused a lot of confusion because I think over in Australia, they only got -196, and really, all the weebs just really want Strong Zero. That includes me, by the way. I just remembered I have to take off this week for Con, Texas, so maybe I'll see some of you there. But right now, that's all I've got. So thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.